Zodwa got so mad at Temba, she packed her bags and told him to get out. And Temba walked to the door, and Zodwa yelled at him, I hope you die a long, slow, painful death, you idiot. Temba turned around and said, you want me to stay? I know you've replenished your stock. You're all looking good now, and the weather is so good for the red wine that you just bought today. And I hear you guys from Southern Wood in East London were already celebrating last night, with the lift of alcohol ban. Ooh, you guys, you must take it easy, hustlers. Remember, the virus is still with us, irrespective of the lockdown level. Please take it easy. Good evening and welcome to Opportunity Tuesday on Talk with Rams Live. Now that you've replenished your stock, Dr. Thando Sibanda is here to replenish your arsenal to personal development. Thank you for choosing us, and thank you for choosing this 30 minutes of most powerful digital content this side of the equator. A quick disclaimer. I don't know whether we're going to have the full 30. The network is playing terrible, is playing a bad game, in particular with Freddie on the technical side. So we hope it holds on. If it doesn't, we shall pre-record at some point and post at some point, hoping that I can find Dr. T's time again. I never want to waste his time. I already get so much from him. I don't want to ever waste his time. We are live on Facebook and YouTube as Talk with Rams. I know you know by now. I'm not going to tell you the guys on Instagram. If you want to see Dr. T, you go to YouTube. On Instagram, you only hear him and see me. We are on WhatsApp for voice notes on 067-271-8239. Please participate, send your questions and comments. We are on Twitter at Talk with Rams1, but you can participate, of course, on Facebook as usual and on Instagram. And I can also read your tweets on YouTube, or your comments on YouTube. Now, 2 weeks ago, we started on the subject of setting attainable goals. And we shall do a quick recap quickly, but tonight we take the subject further and focus on the 5 golden rules of goal setting. Dr. Thando Sibanda, good evening to you.
Good evening, my brother Rams. How are you, sir?
I'm talking lovely. Always grateful to have you here. How are you?
No, I'm well. I was having withdrawal symptoms, seeing we didn't have the program last week, man.
I felt like I abandoned you, Dr. T. But I take comfort in knowing that I dragged you to some 1 a.m. engagement. Or 2 a.m. So.
No, that was good.
But I know that on this platform, we owe our guys a presence. They were waiting for us, and thank you guys for coming back. It was just a 1 week of a break. I had to take care of some stuff. Dr. T, I want us to catch up a bit on what we had a conversation about 2 weeks ago, and I want to start again at the top. Do people have a problem with planning?
Yeah, well, the research says so, Rams. The research says that when you look at DHM research experts, they say that broadly only 1/3 of the population has a written down plan that has attainable goals, a plan that they use to guide their lives by, and invariably it's about 2/3 of the population that don't have a plan that they have, and so that's one of the biggest challenges. Research says that most people don't have a written down plan.
Is it because we are not very rational when it comes to planning, Dr. T? I know. I mean, sometimes I tend to be emotional. I tend to see, let me get personally and very funny, by the way. Then I see somebody I have scant regard for having produced a book, and I say, this year I'm going to do a book. I can't be beaten by so-and-so.
Absolutely. Our biggest challenge is, of course, emotional rather than rational planning. Whether it's New Year's Eve, as you are saying, we see something that we would aspire to be or aspire to do, in that moment, we then let out a certain plan that has been conceived within the emotion of the moment. But the challenge with that is that a while later, a week later, a month later, hours later, the emotion departs, and the reality of the pressures of the day hit, and we realize that we are now left alone without the willpower to back whatever plan we made. It's simply because it was made in the emotion of the moment, but once the emotion lifted, there was no substance to take the vision forward. And that's the problem. We become the K Sara Sara type of people. Whatever will be, will be.
Whatever will be, will be. K Sara Sara. That song, Dr. T, is still a beautiful song, by the way. In spite of the K Sara Sara mindset, it doesn't help us. The ability to set goals, Dr. T, and make plans for accomplishment. I think you said last week it needs a particular skill.
Goal setting is a skill, and goal setting is very important. It's critical if we are to achieve certain milestones or certain things in our lives. So we need to master the skill of goal setting and get into the process of setting attainable goals. It's very, very critical. We make a plan and then we work the plan until we get to a point of success.
And then what is, again, quick catch up before we get to today. People don't plan or set goals.
Oh, absolutely. The first one was that people are just not serious. There are low levels of seriousness. We live in an approach generation, between our knees and our backside. We're very casual in how we do stuff. You talk to people that really achieved great things. It's people who did so when they decided to get serious. So until we completely get serious about achieving goals, we will not be able to do that. So that's one challenge. The levels of seriousness are very low. The second one, as we recap, is that there is lack of proper understanding on the importance of goals from the childhood environments where we are brought up. Most people don't understand the importance of goals because we don't come from homes and families where there was discussions about goals, how do you set goals, or there were examples, or people who actually set goals and achieved them were celebrated within the context of goal setting. You see, so if that was not installed in our subconscious mind, it doesn't become a worldview priority when we get older. I think that's one of the key challenges. It was not installed in us, and so it's a foreign concept to us. It bothers us when someone tells me to set goals. I think they are bothering me.
Yeah, it's a pain on the backside, as we say.
Oh, absolutely. That's why even in a work context, we don't like saying, the whole thing of setting goals. It's like a foreign concept that we are trying to embrace when we are old, and it's difficult. And then, of course, the third part, Rams, is that we have what is called goal setting skill ignorance. We just don't know how to do it. Even in our education system, there isn't too much of a focus in terms of practicalizing what life will look like when we leave school. We are there to do well in a curriculum so that the schools can get a grade. Well, we are grateful for some of those schools that have shifted, or that are trying to shift to empowering the learners to be successful when they leave the school. But you find that a lot of our, we are learning about the thorax and the head of a locust and all of those.
This is a catch-up. Let's not go too long on the catch-up.
I'm enjoying it, brother. The fourth one is fear of criticism.
Yes, fear of criticism. We are all scared of criticism, aren't we? We don't want other people to see us as small.
Yes, as small. And most of us come from a culture where we were criticized a lot as, growing up. So we shy away from things that might bring criticism into our lives. And then, of course, number 5, the fear of failure. People don't set goals because they are afraid. There's that self-sabotage mechanism where we are uncertain of our own capacity to achieve what we set out to achieve. So we'd rather shy away because we are afraid of failing.
So, folks, that was the catch-up. That was the recap of the last episode we had, the 5 golden rules of goal setting. However, Dr. I want to start with that question. Okay. She says, I wrote a list of goals early 2019 on my Google Notes and forgot about it. But to my surprise, I have achieved 7 of the 10 of those goals. I have never gone back to those notes until this year by accident, I guess. What's happening here, Dr. T?
Well, what's happening is the fact that she internalized the goals before she wrote them down. So the steps that we're going to go through were already in her. She internalized her goals and she was very intentional about them. Remember, the writing them down is to remind our conscious mind. But if already your goals are so internalized that they are a part of your internal makeup, you will attain them even if you have not necessarily gone back to whatever you wrote down.
Excellent. Okay, Dr. T, what is the first golden rule of goal setting?
Right. The first golden rule of goal setting is that you need to set goals that motivate you. Every goal must be backed by a strong why. That's the foundation of effective goal setting. You do something that motivates you. Set a goal that motivates you. I want to buy my mother a house. That's a motivating goal. That's a goal where you've got an interest. You are invested in the outcome. The challenge with a lot of people is that we set goals where we have no investment in the achieving goals. If we set goals where there is no strong why, guess what? When things get tough, we will abandon our goals. I remember years ago when James Buster Douglas was fighting with Mike Tyson. Yes. He remembered his mother, the fact that he had promised he was going to win it for his mother. When he was down and it looked like he was losing, that motivated him to get back up and get back into the fight. So when we set goals that motivate you, goals that have got a very strong why, goals that will bring out this I must do it attitude. If you have a goal that does not bring out the I must do it attitude, chances are when things get tough, you will abandon that goal, And so we've got to have a strong why behind our goals. And that's very critical, Rams.
Wow, I love that, Dr. T. I love that when I have to review my whys going forward. The next one?
Right. The next one is that we need to set a SMART goals. And I need to break this down because a lot of people hear about SMART goals, and they think, well, it's a goal that's a little bit sharp. Well, let me get into it, right? We need to apply that rules. Why that rule? Because goals must be specific, goals must be measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. So what do we mean when we talk of this SMART, as I've said? Let me get into specific. Your goal must be clear and well-defined. Vague or generalized goals are unhelpful because they don't provide sufficient direction. Remember, you need goals to show you the way. Your goals must show you the way. And make it as easy as you can to get to where you want to go by defining precisely where you want to end up. Where is I am in Bloemfontein, I know I'm in the right direction. As I approach, I can see the mountain. It's very, very, you don't know where you are going. Any road will take you there. So a specific goal, right? And so, for example, I want to buy a car this year. Not I want to do so well this year. How, what does that mean?
Yes.
I want to buy this car this year. Now, that's a very specific goal. I want to save 10% on my expenditure this year. That's a specific goal, right? So it's called measurable. Measurable means you must bring precision, right? You, like I said, if you are talking budgeting, I want to increase my income by 50%. You see, the moment you've got that 50%, that's a measurable goal. So measurableness enables you to know exactly if you are important in everything that you do. The numbers will guide you. Be very measurable. And the moment you put a date on your goal, you've made it measurable. You see, because goals without dates are simply dreams, because a dream is a goal without a date. But the moment you say, I want to achieve this dream by this time, it's now a goal. You now know that I've got to push towards what I want to do. What are your goals for 2021? What do you need to do, and by when do you need to do it? That needs to be very, very critical. And by what amount do you need to do it? Very, very important, And so your goals must be attainable. It's important that we make sure that we set goals that are attainable. If you set a goal that you have no hope of achieving, you will only demoralize yourself and erode your confidence. Some people set goals, I want to be an astronaut. How are you going to become an astronaut? I have no clue how that happens. But I want to be an astronaut. That's not an attainable goal for you if you are not into physics, you are not into mathematics, you are a lot into kwaito and amapiano, we've got to set attainable goals. We've got to know where we are going.
My goal, Dr. T, is to buy Chelsea this season. I want to buy Chelsea and I want to take it from Abramovich.
Good luck with convincing Abramovich. Now, you see, that's a goal, but whether it's attainable is another story. You see, so a lot of us set attainable goals, and here is the challenge, Rams. We listen to motivational speakers, and a guy like Dr. T will come and say, dream big. You can dream big in small spaces. But then, because I don't put in the proper framework of goal setting, I start dreaming so big that it's outside the scope of attainability. That is the challenge. So we must look at what is my dream, what is the opportunity of the fact that I can actually attain it, And then, of course, our goals need to be relevant, right? Goals should be relevant to the direction you want in your life and where your career is going. So it's very much related to setting goals that are attainable. They must be relevant. If you are a musician, set relevant, attainable goals within the context of where your life is going, so that your dreams have got the momentum of your willpower and your full-scale cooperation. They've got to be relevant, right? And then, of course, your goals must be time-bound. They are broken smart down. They must have a deadline. You know when you have crossed the line. That's how you celebrate. Do you know that celebration is on the occasion of a finishing line being crossed? People who celebrate without crossing a specific end point, don't make much sense. And that's why celebration simply means I have crossed the line that I had set. So when you are working on a deadline, your sense of urgency increases, your buy-in increases, and achievement comes, and you know when you have crossed it. That's why goals must be time bound, And so that's on my second point that I was talking about, where you have to set smart goals.
Should I be writing, as Thandeka said, should I be writing my goals down?
Oh, yes, absolutely. You see, the physical act of writing, that act of transferring it from your neocortex through your neural network into your hands, and you put the goal down, it makes it real and tangible. You've got no excuse for forgetting about it. People will tell you, if you have a goal, put it on your fridge, put it on your wardrobe, put it in your wallet, put it in your car. Why? Because whatever is written down becomes compelling. Remember, when it's written down, you've got to read it back to yourself. You're always reading it. So the key about writing something down is that it must speak back to you. Because a lot of us, if nothing is speaking back to us, we tend to forget it. So that's the point. If I say I will reduce my operating expenses by 10% this year, I am very, very specific. I'm not saying I might reduce or I would like to reduce. No, I'm writing down I will reduce my operating expenses by 10% this year. It now starts speaking back to me. So whenever I'm spending over, that which I've written down speaks back to me. It's very, very important.
On that note, before we go to the fourth one, Dr. T, Tswani Malope asks, is there a difference between goals and vision boards, or is this one and the same thing?
The vision board is a vision board is like a mind map. It gives you the big picture of where you want to go. I want to buy a house. I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do that. But now when you put in goals, the goal then speaks to the vision board. I want to buy a house by November this year. I want to buy a 4-bedroom house by November this year in this suburb. Now you've got a goal. But the vision is big picture. I need to be a landlord. I need to own my own house. So a goal takes a vision and makes it palatable. It makes it chewable. How do you chew an elephant? One bite at a time type thing.
Well, preferably don't chew an elephant, but that's another matter for another day. What's the fourth golden rule, Dr. T?
Of course, the fourth golden rule is make an action plan. Make an action plan, right? This step is often missed, Rams, in the process of goal setting, because a lot of people get so focused on the outcome that they actually forget to plan all of the steps that are needed, along the way. It's nice for us to say we are going to win the championship as Kaizer Chiefs this year. We are winning the championship, but what it means is that we need to probably practice more. We need to watch our diet more. It means that we need to put in more hours than what we put in last season. It means we need to study our opponents. It means we need to be resilient. We need to be encouraged. So the action plan will give you the path, the critical path that you need to get to your goal. A lot of people have got goals, but they have no action plans. And that is why goals remain goals. If I want to write own goals, I need to have an action plan.
So goals end up being own goals because there's no action plan.
I like that. Goals will end up being own goals. When there's no action plan, it will become an own goal, not the goal in terms of where you want to go. Absolutely.
It gets tougher, Dr. T. We plan. We all want to succeed. And I know even those of us who are careless, who don't write them down. When it gets tough, do I review? Do I go do I do a new plan? Do I stick to the one that I've planned? What do I do?
The last and final point here is you've got to stick with it. I always say back your skill with your will type thing. Because remember, the goal speaks of what you need to achieve. But guess what? You are going to encounter obstacles. You are going to encounter challenges. You are going to encounter things that will come to actually try your goal. That will come to test your resolve in the direction and dimension that you've set to go. You need to be like a postage stamp. Stick to one thing until you get there. A lot of us set 20 goals. This year I've got a goal to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it becomes difficult to stick to one goal. Why? Because you are distracted by a lot of other things. Look at one thing, stick with it. The circus trainer Rams, how a guy is able to get into a cage with a lion is that with only a whip and a chair. Is the fact that the chair has got or a bus stool has got those 4 legs. He will put the chair in front of him like this, and as long as the lion looks at the chairs and tries to deal with this picture of 4 legs and doesn't even get to the guy behind because it's distracted by this thing. But see, when you set your goals, you can't get distracted by anything. You need to keep with the picture, be like a postage stamp, stick to something until you get there, And so they say, Rams, obstacles are these little things that we see when we take our eyes off the goal. We need to stick with it so that we can have, in the end, what we call measurable celebrations. Measurable celebrations. I know. I've always said that. I don't like the celebration of birthdays. Because even people don't achieve anything, wait for the birthday and they say, "I'm going to celebrate the birthday." No, your birthday must be a day. You call all shareholders and say, "It's my birthday, guys. I set off to achieve 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and as my years are going, I am achieving things." It's not an excuse for every loser, non-planner, someone who's doing nothing. Hang your birthday. Let me go get some booze and some music. What are you celebrating? The passage of time? We need to celebrate milestones. Make sure that there are milestones you are achieving. Then you can have a good celebration on your birthday.
my late uncle used to say, the only reason, and I'm saying this, guys, don't take it personally, it was a joke, but he says the only reason he would never take his children to a Catholic school is that all they're going to achieve is a birth certificate, a baptismal certificate, and a death certificate. That's about it. And he said, I'm not taking them there.
No. We must be good in setting goals, Rams. We must be good because that's how we get to where we need to go.
Let's go back to the 4-bedroom house in Bryanston.
Right.
What happens in my journey when I then have obstacles? Things happen, things become tough, but I achieve a 2-bedroom apartment in Bryanston. Have I failed on the journey, or am I on the track? What would have happened there? How do I review myself in that way?
Look, I think as long as there has been some measurable achievement in the direction of your goals, that's cause enough for celebration. Someone sets off to build a triple story, and they build a one level or a double story. Well, the point is, you may not be where you want to be, but thank God you are not where you were. So that's the power of setting goals. The fact that you can measure and say, I wanted a 4-bedroom house, but I got a 2-bedroom house. Well, it shows that there was a plan. Maybe something went wrong in the plan. Maybe the budget didn't come together. Maybe this and that. But you still achieved something that is measurable. See, the point is, make sure that there is measurable progress in your life. Where you end, believe me, is so much better than a lot of people who didn't even take the moment to plan and didn't go anywhere.
I'm going to read 2 comments from the 2 people who asked us questions earlier. Tandega says, this is Opportunity Tuesday. This Opportunity Tuesday is speaking to me. The year has a lot to unfold. Thank you very much for that. And then Swani comes back to say, a goal makes a vision palatable. He quotes you. Thanks, Doc. He says, just a side note, based from President Mbeki saying that the reason we have not really started on the National Development Plan is because the NDP is a vision, but it has no action plan. So I see your point about action plans, Dr. T. Thank you very much, he says.
Wow. No, that's awesome. I think it's our hope, Rams, and you've said this time and time again that we would like our viewers to be properly equipped so that they can effect positive change. I think that's one of the key things as we begin the year. Everybody that is a part of this family needs to have written down goals. Now people know what to do, let them go and have written down goals so that when we start off next year, we can look back and say, look, in this year, what have we done, in terms of what we set out to do? What's my decade plan? What's my decade vision? How do I break that into goals? So what I'm doing this year is speaking to the bigger picture. I think all of us have a responsibility. If we're going to be progressive people, if we're going to be contributing citizens, we need to be able to set attainable goals.
As we conclude, Dr. T, I want to take you to something that you said 2 weeks ago, and because everything captured me, but it is the one thing that really got my heartstrings. You said we should keep our goals confidential. Why is that important?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. A lot of times we go public with our goals. Remember, when something is in its infancy, it's easy for people to trample it down. Someone's opinion of what you want to do can crush your goal because it's still very young. I want to build a house this year. I tell people, I wake up and say, guys, this year I'm building a house. And some broke uncle who never even built a shack in his life says, "Who do you think you are? You think building a house is for people like you?" Just that statement can demoralize you. You know, you tell people this year I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right at the beginning, and just one opinion that is said or whatever can literally crush your spirit. So I always say to people, measure. If you are around eagles, talk to eagles. But if you know that you are around people that are not dreaming and envisioning at the same capacity at which you are, keep your goals silent. Write them down, write the dates down. Let people see what you are achieving more than they hear what you are saying. I think that's very important. Sometimes we talk too much and our tongue becomes our undoing.
Dr. Thembisbanda, oh man, I could talk to you forever. I could talk to you completely forever. Well, folks, we started a bit late, but I know we have covered 30 minutes of powerful digital content. And damn, Mr. Freddy did not fail us. We managed to finish the show. There was an interruption at the beginning, but we sailed through until the end. Thank you so much, Dr. T. It has been a great, wonderful evening. At least for me, I can speak for myself.
No, thank you. I've really enjoyed connecting with you and with our viewers and listeners that ask questions. I think it's great when we can deal with some of these things live, man. It was awesome. I appreciate it.
Great stuff. I hope, folks, you have registered. As of next week, we're going to be testing the new format of the show. We're going to go inside a room, a virtual room, all of us, and do this thing from a virtual room. And then the broadcast will be a rebroadcast of what happened in the room, but it won't be a full broadcast of what happened. Please join us. Send us your emails, admin@talkwithrams. Send us your email address, rather your WhatsApp number, because it's going to happen through WhatsApp, and then invite you through Zoom to be part of the conversation. We want you to be part of this as we go forward, as we grow forward, and as eager as we can share our visions and our goals and our plans, and we can help each other get there. I want you to be part of this group. Thank you very much for joining us. From me, Rams Mabote, good night and God bless.